help me understand, please. So today we'll be looking at aggregation function. Power up MySQL. Let's get started. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Dear Excel, I thought you say it's Microsoft Word. I thought you say it's Microsoft Word. No. The person that has that is Akim for MIS. Basic Excel. Let's power up MySQL. Let's get it started. Automatics and switch on. Remove all this first. Who is playing that song? That song at the background, who sang itself out? So we'll be looking at the aggregation function: count, sum, average, mean, and max. Those are the aggregation function, and this spans not only it's not only for MySQL, it also extends to Excel and even Power BI, all those data analytic tools. So an aggregation function is just a special SQL functions that performs calculation on multiple rows and return a single or summary value. It takes all the row and return one value, expecting rows, set of rows. That is, they usually specify a column or a set of row or a filtered column and then return one single value. That is, they are often used with the group by to analyze data. So we're going to look at that. There are 5 major. We have the count function, which counts the rows. Count how many students. Example, we use it for count how many students are in grade 10, and sum adds values. Total number of student ages combined. Average finds average number. So you can use it for averaging. You select the set of rows that you even specify a column, then you find their average. The mean finds the smallest value. Like example, the youngest students in the student's age, the age column. Then max finds the largest value, which is like, for example, the oldest students. So these are the 5 major aggregation functions. And the simple syntax is like this: you select aggregation function, then the column name. You want to aggregate the function, then what you want to aggregate, the column you want to aggregate. See, is it usually numeric? Usually what? Numeric. You can also count rows, so it's not totally always numeric. So you specify that column that you want to perform aggregation function on. Then from the table, then in case you want to filter, you put conditions there as well. So for example, you want to count everything as total students. What? Want to get the total students inside from students. So quickly, let's open our MySQL. I'm going to create a new script for this, and of course I'm using the student DB. use the student DB. Okay, it's school DB. Thank you. It's school DB, not you. Hey, school DB. Let's select everything. Star. Star. So the first one we want to do, want to get the total count. We want to get what's the total count of students. So you can, let's start with the aggregation function count. Count. Open bracket. And you can put star. That means all the column, every column. You want to count everything. Then you can select from where. You can even name it as using alias as total students. Then you can specify from which table. We are selecting from the students table. But we don't need any filtering yet. Let's just end it like that and run. And you get, we have 200 students that we created. So that's that. I have 200 students that is created. All right. As using alias as, so there are five major. We have the count function, which counts the rows. Count how many students. Example, use it to count how many students are in the grades and in the 10. And some add. So let's move forward. Sorry, that's a little. Then let's practice example with our school DB again. That's what we just did. So count number of female students. We can count the total number of female students using the condition. Can we do that? Count the, we want to add it with conditions. We want to count the total that are female. You know, whenever we are doing filter, we add where and the condition. The condition is gender is should be equal to female. So if we want to do that simple, can add the where statement here. Where gender like this. Gender is equal to female. Let's end it like this and run. If you run, we have 103 female students using the count aggregation function. So that's the So what if we want to find the youngest, the youngest and the oldest students? We use these two. We have done counts. Now it remain other four. Among those four, we have mean and max. Mean and max. Max to find the highest number, and mean to find the lowest number, right? So we can just create another one to count. So the age, that is to say, we want to pass in the age because age is what we are measuring to find oldest and youngest. So to do that, we say select the aggregation function we want to find is max. Max of what column? Age. We want to call it what? As oldest. Welcome. Welcome, Jude. Comma. And mean of age. Still age. As what? As youngest. Youngest professor. And we select it from what table? The students table. Jude, welcome. Students table. And if you run this, we'll get this to your oldest is 19 and the youngest is what? 14. So that's using the max and the mean aggregation function now. Jude, before you came, we are talking about aggregation function. Aggregation functions are those SQL special functions that take in sets of rows, usually a column, and return a single value. Like the name implies, aggregation, it aggregates, bring plenty things into one. You understand? So we have 5 major aggregation functions. We have the count to count the total number of rows. We have mean, we have to count to find the minimum number or the minimum value of a row. Then we have the max among all the rows. Find the maximum out of them. That is for max. That's the one we just experiment. Aside that, we have average, we have I think we have sum, and we have so those are the ones we are talking about. Average and sum adds up to make it 5. But we have done count. This is how we did for count, and this is how we are experimenting for max and mean. Max, what that means is it's looking through the age column, all the rows inside the age column. It looks at it, which number is the maximum, is the highest. We want to represent that as oldest. That is why I created a column called oldest and put towards the max there, which is 19. Then for the minimum, inside the column age, and we want to put it under the column called youngest. So we'll put it youngest and we'll put the number there. So it finds the maximum and the minimum respectively using that function. Any complications? Value. Okay, so school DB, thank you. So let's move forward. Sorry. Then let's practice example with the school DB. That's what we just did. So count number of female students. You can count the total number of female students using the condition. Can we do that? Count the, we want to add it to conditions. We want to count the total that are female. You know, whenever we are doing filter, we add the condition is gender is equal to female. So if you want to do that simple, you can add the where statement here. Where So like this. Then let's undo that. One. We have 103 female students. Count something. So that's that. So that's that. What if you want to find the youngest and the oldest students? We use these two. We have done counts. Now it means other four. Among those four, we have min and max. Min and max. Max to find the highest number, and min to find the lowest number. Right. So you can just take you can just take So we've done for min, we've done for max, we've done for count. So we've done for min, we've done for max, we've done for count. Let's proceed. Now there is another one called average. I think somehow, somewhere we must have used this. And this is also, like I said, it's not only in MySQL. This is also extended to other data analytic tools. Most of this function is what you use. Average, AVG. Some I think in Excel they call it directly average, right? It's average. Count is called count in Excel. Max is max in Excel. Min is min in Excel, but AVG is average. Is average in Excel. And this is how to find the average of. So if you want to find the average, this is how you put it. Like I said, it's numeric. You want to do mathematical performance. If you want, you can't find average of names. Expected to. It's not possible. I will be expecting an error. So let's find the average. So we are going to select an error. So let's find the average. So we are going to select what is the aggregation function? AVG, right? Then the column we are performing this on its age. And we're going to call it as what? Average. You can put it as a string. It mustn't be. So that in case you want to give a separation, average. Select this. From where? I want to select it from the students table. There is no condition, just want there's no filtering condition. We're not doing any filtering. So if we run that, we get the average is 16.3150. That is the average age of all the students. Like I said, some average. I don't think you can't put it on the name column or first name. I think it's first name. This is the spelling of first name, right? If you run it, what are we expecting? You're expecting 0 because you can't find average. Oh, it didn't even throw error. It's gracious. Like you're expecting an error. You can't find average of first name, right? It's not numeric. At least it's gracefully returning 0. I was expecting PAM error. But for numeric values, let's select everything from student. Let's see how many things can perform aggregation on. We could perform aggregations on numeric value like age. We do not need to perform on student ID because it is not, well, it could count. So aside this, we can count. Count is non-numeric. It can perform on both numeric and non-numeric field. We will still get 200. So there are 200 entries of first name. That's count. So we've done for count, we've done for average, we've done for max and min. The other last one is sum. So to sum up everything, that's just it. In case you want to find the total sum of every row in a column, you can select what? Select the sum of the column you are looking for. Of course, age is the only thing we can currently comfortably work on based on our data set as in a quotation sum of ages. And what table are we selecting, making this selection from the students table? Do we have any condition? No, we are not filtering. So, and we have the total, if you add up all those sum sorts, 3265 or 3263. So that's about that. Hmm? Formula. Yeah, everything there. Done for me, done for max, done for count. Done for me, done for max, done for count. Done for me, done for max, done for count. Let's see. Now there's another one for output. And this is also, like I said, it's not only in this function is what is average, average. So I think in Excel they call it directly average. So let's move forward. So this is the count. Don't count. Find earliest and latest enrollment. Aside that, well, aside just simple numeric, we can also find mean and max for dates. That's one nice thing about MySQL. Minimum of enrollment date. We can find the earliest. The first person that did the enrollment can use this mean of enrollment, and the last person that enrolled, we can use this max. Yes, enrollment date from the enrollment table. Quickly, let's do that. So we can just say select. I want to select, select want to find mean, the person who the smallest mean of enrollment date as what to call it as, what should we call it? We target first enrollment. Can put it inside the string in case you don't want it human readable, not like a variable. If first enrollment. That's not. Then we want to find the max of enrollment date as last enrollment from what table? Enrollment table. So we are finding the minimum of the enrollment date, which is the first date in the smallest dates there, and the maximum, which is the highest date there, to be the last enrollment, because each enrollment is recorded with dates. So what is the table called? So if you go to the enrollment, where is the tables? Enrollments. There are columns. The column is enrollment date. Enrollment date. Enrollment date. And you get this result. There is the same. We have an error here. I say error. SchoolDB.mean does not exist as a function. Sorry. Don't give a space. And we're expecting this. First enrollment is this, and the last enrollment is 26th. One is 24th September. 26th of September 2024, and it's 26th September 2025, just like 1 year interval. Are we good? Count number of students per grade. You want by grade level. That's group by grade level. So there is this group by that we have not used, that I think we still need to redo this, just not like ordering. So quickly, let's do this. Count the number of students per what grade level. We'll still take a better review on this group by. We've not done group by. We've done order by. We've not done grouped by. We'll still do this, but quickly, let's do this count students per grade. So quickly, let's go. So we select, as usual, everything. Of course, we are counting everything, which is star, from the word students table, from the students DB, students table, as we want to call it, as students count. So this is count group by grade level, and end the statement. And you see that different group grade levels, we are counting, then we are grouping by. So it's all group by means there are different grade levels, right? You group them. Like grade 11, you have the account, how many people are in grade level, so they group them in chunks. Group by help us group. It's not order by that finds everything all in one table, all in one row. Group by specify each, creates a special row for each group. You understand? Grade 11, don't worry, we'll come to group by the more and we'll talk more about the group by. But remember, aggregation function is supposed to give us only one value, not plenty values. This example, this count. So group by help us split each of those students in each grade level. Grade 11 have 57, grade 9 have 53, grade, all those kind of thing. So we are counting the number of students by grade level and grouping by grade level. We'll talk more about the group by. We can't put it on main column or first name. You can find the LDS. First person that took the enrollment can use this new enrollment, and the last person that will can use this max. Yes, enrollment is something. Enrollment to let's do that. So let's say select. Want to select? Let's select. We good, right? Let's move forward. Want to find me? So find average age of students per grade. Per grade means for each grade. That's why I'm grouping by grade. Quickly, let's do this by ourselves. Let's see. Let's experiment. Listen, say. So we find the other one is we are finding the is per aggregation grade level. That's we are finding the count per grade level. Now we are finding the average per grade level. The other one, instead of count student count, we're calling this one average age. So we are using the main average. Quickly. Okay, all right. Class is by what time? All right. All right. So you see that how many sets do you have? So those are the averages for each of those grade levels. We have different grade levels, so we are grouping by each grade level. So we are performing operation in groups. We'll come back to this group. Why do we really need aggregation functions anyway? It helps us to summarize large data sets. It's useful for reporting and analytics most of the times. Then it works with the group by for category based analysis. We use them very extensively with the group by for what category based analysis. So in real life scenarios, for example, inside in schools, in case you are working as a data analyst for school, average age of students per grade, you can do that. For each grade level, you want to find the average age of students. Okay, the average age of those people that are in grade 11 are this, the average grade of age of those people that are in grade 2, those kind of things. In banks, find total amounts of deposits. That's aggregation by using sum. Remember? Then in hospital, number of patients per ward per is grouped by. Want to find the total number of patients, then you group by ward, the ward actually admitted to. Then in e-commerce, the highest, the lowest, and the average product price. We also do that aggregation as well. So this is a classwork. I will not use this challenging question. They say write a query to show each grade level, the total number of students in it, the youngest age, the youngest age, oldest age, and then the average age. Quickly, that's it. Let's don't need for very long. We are grouping by, then we ordered by grade level, sending. We are finding, they say we should find two. The total number of students in its grade. Show each grade level. So say select grade level, that is one. Then the total number of students in its is count. Remember, then the youngest is max, the oldest is max, the youngest is mean, and the average is this from what the students, but we are grouping by grade level because what we are show each grade level with it with. So each grade level will contain all this. So and we group by grade level and then we order by each grade level. Quickly, let's do that. So we select first in the onto is the grade level. That is one comma. They want us to find the rewards, the counts for each grade level sets. We want to also count. We want to count everything star, and we want to call it what? As total students. Can put it inside quotation. Total students. Then we want to also find the minimum, the max, and the average. The mean of each. The mean each. Age as youngest student. Then want to also add the oldest as the oldest student. And then we also add the average, which is the average of the students. Call it the average age of the students. AVG as average student. Then we want to group by no, so where are we selecting it from? That's most important. from the students, not students table. Then we group by grade level. Let's end it here first so we understand what we just did. Then later we can order by. We run this. More down. Anyway, ordering grade level is weird. It's all there is no, we can't order grade level because it is not numeric and it is not alphabetically. All right, so that's about that. You say? Say? Uh, okay, you having issues with the count? But remember, aggregation function is supposed to give us only one value, not plenty value. So group by help us split each of those students in each grade level. We good, right? All those kind of things. So we are counting the number of students by grade level and grouping by grade level. We're talking about the group by. So that's about that on the aggregation function. Any question on aggregation generally? Have any complications? This time to ask. Let's move forward. Let's go and understand the group by properly. Can we move on? Anointed, we good, right? Alrighty. So let's move on to group by. Where is our group by? So we're adding it to the group by doing the group by now. So the group by clause is used to arrange rows into groups like we have seen based on one or more columns. You understand? It's usually combined with aggregation function, usually, like we have seen. So we can just add a gender. Now it will now be on a gender. Each gender will be each row. Where is it? Sorry. Where is the spelling? Inside the columns we have, oh sorry, students. Inside students we have the columns gender. Yes. Group by gender. Select this, run it. Error, select lists. Clause contains non-aggregation. Where is the non-aggregation function term? From the students table. Let's select everything. Count as total student. Mean 140. We have some errors here. Okay. That grade level. Are we aggregating any non-numeric aggregated columns? Dot grade level. Okay. Is it not AVG? Oh, no, it's supposed. Okay, yes. That is not a problem. It's a column. We have to put it inside we put it inside quotation. If you put it inside quotation, it shouldn't matter. There is still an error. Mean age star. Okay, select gender. That's what we should do instead. Sorry. Then we group by. If you put them inside quotation, it still works, right? But if you don't put them inside quotation, it will not work. So this will work. The reason why it's shouting this, the thing that we are grouping by gender, but we are not selecting it. You understand now? We said female student have is a total of this, male student have is a total of this. So we are grouping by gender now. But whatever you are grouping by, you should always select it. The mistake it was actually what was having that issue is we were selecting grade level and we are grouping by gender. So let's quickly take a better deep dive. a deeper dive into the aggregation function. And the group by. So the group by, like we said, is used in combination with aggregation function most of the time. Usually, that's the word. It's usually used combined with. So the syntax like this: you select the column A, then aggregation function, then you group by the column. You understand? The column you are selecting, that's the column you are grouping by. Is that clear? Then the aggregation function can add more than one aggregation functions like we have seen. Or you must select the column you want to group by. We good? So practical example. So we select this. You select grade level, an aggregation function. We group by the grade level we selected. We select grade level, group by grade level, our aggregation functions. Select gender, group by gender, our aggregation functions on the table. Select grade level, group by grade level. I hope you understand what we mean. So it is usually used in combination with word aggregation functions for better data analysis, like we have seen. Count enrollments per courses. So this is course ID, group by course ID. So you know that, yes, okay, for each this person has so enrollment. So let's quickly do that. Let's see for each student. For each course, how many enrollments are there? And we want to group it by each course, right? We want to group each course and find the total number of enrollment that happened for that course. So if you want to do that, of course, yeah, instinct is wrong. Yeah, instinct is wrong. What are we grouping by? Teacher, exactly. The things, mess your mom. The trick is what you select first is what you are grouping by, right? You select teacher first, so you are grouping by teacher. And that's that. And if you run this, Alan is teaching one course. So this is per teacher. Moreover, all of them are teaching. So let's find a number of enrollments per student ID. Quickly, everybody. Find the number of enrollments per student ID. Let's do that quickly. Select student ID. That is what we want to group by. And what we are counting then is everything course. And we want to call it as enrollments from the enrollment table. And we are grouping by what? What are we grouping by, please? Exactly. Student ID. When this. See, this is per student ID. You have issues here. Table school DB enrollments. Enrollments. It's enrollments. And it's not capital letter A. And we'll see. Student ID 1 has 5 enrolled to 5 courses. Students ID 2 enrolled to 2 courses. Student ID 3 enrolled to 5 courses. Student ID 4 enrolled to 3 courses. You understand? That's that. We have done joins. Hey, now, this is another complicated something. We have not done join very extensively yet, but to some extent, have we done join? We did join small, where we join on something. Yeah, yes, and we did subqueries. I'm sure we did subqueries, did we? We did subqueries, didn't we? Let's complete join before we can do this, because I wanted us to combine these enrollments and students. So instead of this student's ID, we are selecting students instead. You understand? So there are 2 tables: enrollment, students, and students table. So and just courses as, enrollments as E, and what? Students as S. Then this is students dot s dot student ID. Can just even select only one column first. For each enrollment, you can just say e dot enrollment ID. If we do this, there is no S yet. Let's just enrollment dot student ID first. If we do this, we are still supposed to get the same answer. Enrollments 100. So there is issues. Is there any? Okay, it's supposed to be yes. Enrollment ID per enrollment, yeah, per school. So per student ID per e dot student ID. So let's run this. So these are all this. It's all right. When we come to join, I don't want to. I was thinking we can find a workaround without the join and subqueries, but let's come to joins first before we can do these subqueries. But at least to some extent, we understand the count. I mean, group by. So we always group by what we select first. That's about that. Then quickly find average students per gender. Let's find the average students per gender quickly. Let's get all these small things, doing it over and over again makes you better. It's not even all the knowing. Let's find the average students per gender. So we are going to select, of course, per gender. You know that we are grouping by what? Gender. So select gender, and average is AVG, right? Of everything, students as average. Let's put it inside so that we can call it as a string format. Average of, no, we are supposed to find average. Let's find the average age. Sorry, average age. So it's age, not, we are not counting some. So you're finding the average age. You have to specify that column that has that numeric value or average, unlike count, as average student, right? So that's the average student. Then let's just leave that. Then from what table? From the students table. Then group by. We are grouping by what? Grouping by what? Exactly. Gender. We run this, so we should expect have an error. School db.enrollment is, what is this? So female has average of this, male has average of this. Now, why do we use the group by? To help us summarize categories of data and works hand in hand with aggregation functions. Makes reporting more meaningful. I think this is more like pivot table in Excel. You drag all those things that they say per something into the row column and into the row field. I don't know. They will come to a point in Excel. You'll be doing something called pivot table. I don't know. You've not done it now. You've not done it. in Excel. There'll come a point we'll be doing all those. So this is almost like pivot table. So makes more reports more meaningful. In real life use cases, you can use SchoolDB to count students per grade. In banks, can sum transaction per account type. You can get the number of patients per department, and even e-commerce sales per total category, or total sales total per category. So let's do this challenging classwork. Write a query to display the grade level, the number of male students, the number of female students. Use group by with case when for gender count. Okay, we've not done case when. No. Oh, so quickly, let's just even get it done like this practically. We are selecting grade because we are grouping by grade level. Then we are summing. So there is a grade function that we can sum conditionally. Can do what? Sum conditionally. So you put sum, you can put case when gender equal to male, then 1, else 0, end. So this one, in the case where gender is male, add it, but if not, don't add it. So we are only doing for male students. So there is something called conditional aggregation. Conditional what? We didn't add this, but this one will help us to quickly extend. This is conditional aggregation. You are performing, I think, sum x and average x. This is something like that. So the sum, you are giving it a condition that I want to find the sum only if the gender is a male or if a condition meets something. So you put the case, then when the field is equal to a value, then you choose 1. 1 means add it, include it. 0 means don't include it. Then you end. Is that clear? 1 means what? 0 means what? Don't. So if the gender is male, include it. Else, don't include it. That's in case it is female. You understand? Because when it is female now, it is no more, gender is no more male. In that case, return 0. Are we good? And give that as male students. Then sum, you just for female, of course. If it is female, you include them, but if it is not, don't include memory sake. So open your, so select grade level, because that's what we're grouping by. Grade level, comma, then sum in the case for male. So you say case when the field gender equal to the value male, preferably always use single quotes, male. What should we do? We what? Return, then use the then you can put can call it sum of male. That is here. Or okay, how can you, no, these are just like condition. Okay, instead of all this long thing, you put what? That is, where do you put the off? Inside here. No, 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 it don't work. This is like a formula. It's a parameter. A function takes in parameters. This is a condition. Case, this is just like an if and else statement. Case when gender is this. Then, so what the sum is doing, right? There is something the sum is doing. The sum is going through each row. Anytime you call this function, go through each row and add. So what you are using case and when you come to conditional, conditional, then you see this case and when return 0 whenever you don't want it, so that means don't include it. That's about that. So quickly, you so then if it's that, then one else means include it, else don't include it, then end, and want to call it what? As sum of sum of male male. Let's just leave that. Then put then after that, comma, and go to the next one. Let's find sum of female. Sum, but this one is for female. We want to use the case again. In the case when gender is the same as female, then return that, add that value. Else, don't add the value. Then you end this whole problem. But that column, we are going to call it as sum of female. And after that, then we go to we are selecting it from the students table. Then want to group. Are we good? Let's move forward. We're all good here, right? I think with that we can call it a day. Mm. Here's some gender equal to male. Mm-hmm. Give same output. Seriously, without the case, let's see. Just say set gender equal to. The Excel will not surprise me. Say Excel. It's the same. Oh. Thank you for that finder. Well done. Next class tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow is Excel. All right, now you see with your teachers then. Today performance on YouTube was superb. That's nice. See engagement. Now they try. So let's call it a day. We'll do this next time.